What's up guys, and welcome back to another weekend deal update. This week I went super deep digging in the interwebs, but luckily I struck gold and we have a bunch of solid deals today. This is probably one of the best weekend deal roundups that we've had in a while. Alright guys, so before we get into it today, if you haven't checked out the running shoe matcher tool yet on Supwell, go to supwell.io and check out the shoe matcher tab. So the running shoe matcher is a cool tool I built that matches you with the best shoe for you based on your goals and preferences. So you can go in there, answer 5 questions about what shoe you're looking for, whether you like your shoes soft or firm, whether you need an everyday running shoe or a racing shoe. We will match you with the best shoe for you. So it's live on the site right now. You can find it in the shoe matcher tab, and on Supwell you can also find all the new running shoe releases. You can see the best deals, and you can see my picks for my favorite running shoes on the market right now. All right, let's get into it. Alright guys, so first up we have the brand new Puma Velocity Nitro 3. Now the deal on this one is going to require you to use a special code. So this just dropped for $130. It's not even live across all of the shoe websites yet, but Puma is selling it on their USA website. So I'll put the link below, and you gotta put in the code THANKS, which will take 20% off, which brings the shoe down to $108. So I'm not sure how long this one is gonna last, but if you were on the fence about getting the shoe for $100, that's a really solid buy. So what the shoe is going to offer is a nice, firmer, fast, everyday running ride. So I did a 100-mile week test with this shoe, so I used it for every single run for a week, and it left my legs in decent shape. Now, it's not the softest, more forgiving ride, but if you're in a period in your training where you want something that's going to push you a little bit, you want something for those steadier miles, but that's a little bit more substantial than a shoe like the SC Trainer V2 or the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, then this is a great choice. I really enjoyed the foam in it. It's got a top layer of Nitro foam, which is a supercritical TPU, and it is a very durable shoe. So for $108, you could probably get 400, 500 miles out of this guy right here. Alright guys, next up we have the New Balance Propel V4, and shout out to my guy Calvin, who I sent those Reeboks to a while ago, and he actually DM'd me this deal on Instagram. So guys, if you see any good deals out there, DM to me on Instagram at Supwell Running, or send them directly to my email, yoanna@supwell.io. So this guy is normally, I think, $110, but it's on sale for $50 right now at sierra.com. So this is New Balance's drop-down version, or their more basic version of the SC Trainer V2. So instead of having a carbon fiber plate in there, it uses a plastic plate. It's going to be a little bit more of a flexible ride, but weirdly it is a touch firmer than the SC Trainer V2. So if you're looking for a plated shoe but don't want something super harsh, and you also don't want to shell out over $100, this is a great entry into the plated trainer segment without breaking the bank and without giving you something that's uncomfortable to run in or takes a little bit of time to learn how to use, like the Boston 12. I think this also looks pretty sweet, and it's going to give a more natural ride than some of the other plated trainers out there. So it can be a viable shoe for taking to the gym, treadmill use, around town, and at $50 you're going to get a ton of value from this shoe. Alright guys, next up here we have another shoe that I rarely see dip below the $100 price point. That's why I'm so jacked up today. We got a bunch of deals like this. The Nike Invincible 3. Now this one is being sold for $97 right now. So this guy is going to give a fun, bouncy ride. This is Nike's max cushion running shoe that has the ZoomX foam in there. So ZoomX is their race day foam. Same thing that's in the Vaporfly and Alphafly. It's also in the top layer of my favorite daily trainer right now, the Nike Vomero. But in the Invincible, there's nothing else. There's no plate, there's no EVA foam to stabilize it, so it's just going to give you a pure, unbridled, joyful ride out there. Very bouncy, very fun to run in. If you do need any sort of stability, this isn't going to be the best choice, but if you're looking for something that's just an enjoyable ride for those easy days where you want to chug through some miles, or even some slight pace pickups, if you have some runs with strides in there, this would be a good choice. Alright guys, next up we have the Hoka Mach 5 for $100. Now there weren't too many sizes left on this deal when I first came across it, so you might want to go check that out now if you're interested in the shoe. Mach 5 is one of the most versatile shoes that I've ever run in. It does great for slow recovery running efforts. I even used the shoe for 10-minute miles with some family running last summer. And then I also did 2 of my fastest miles of last year in the shoe, some 520-mile repeats. The reason it's so versatile is because it has this dual foam construction. So you got this top layer here of ProFly Plus, supercritical EVA foam. So it's a little bit bouncier. It has gas injected in it to give it that soft character. Then you have the bottom layer of standard EVA foam. And what you'll see is it also has this rocker profile, which just tips you along, makes it really easy to roll through any paces. So as you guys know, I like to say I vote with my miles. I put over 300 miles on this shoe. I was squeezing every little last mile of life out of it because I loved it so much, and I could probably still get 20 to 30 to 50 maybe more miles out of it, but just not going to force it since I have some other things to run in. But if you're looking for a fun lightweight shoe that could do fast running, that could do everyday miles, this is a great option. Not great if you live in an icy winter climate because it doesn't have any rubber on the bottom here, but if you're in the Carolinas like me, or you live in the warmer climate, or you want something for the treadmill, then Mach 5 for $100, great buy. Alright guys, next up we have the Novablast 3 for $100. Now this deal has been out there for a while, but the reason that I'm highlighting it in here today is because a lot of you have been asking me what is a good daily trainer for a beginner, and this is one of the best out there. It's a little bit more cushioned than some entry-level running shoes like the Pegasus or the Audi Zero SL, but it's not so max stack that it's going to be too hard to run in for someone who is new to running. So it's going to have a forgiving ride. It's good for everyday miles. You could even take it up for long runs. And the reason we're seeing it discounted here is because the Novablast 4 came out. That one is priced at $140, so they've cut the price on this to $100. Alright guys, we are back for part 2 of the deals video, and you probably didn't see me go anywhere, but I had a meeting, I had to have lunch. It's been about 2 hours since we paused filming from the first section. Anyway, next up we have the Nike InfinityRN 4 for $87. Now this is one, the MSRP is actually kind of high for what this shoe is. It's $160 to $170 depending on the colorway. $160 is market standard for a max cushion shoe like this, but it's not the fastest, it's not the most versatile. It's a little bit on the heavier side, coming in above the 10-ounce range. I think it's about 11 ounces for a men's sample size 9, but this is a super cushioned, comfortable shoe that is a really solid option for slow recovery days. So if you need something that's going to completely take the burden off your legs after hard workouts, that's going to slow you down and just give you a nice protective ride, that's where the InfinityRN 4 comes into play. So this one is about 50% off at $87. So if you're on the fence about this shoe but could use a new cushioned cruiser, I would grab the 4. Alright guys, next up we have 2 Altra trail shoes that are both on sale for around $100. We have the Olympus 5 for $101 and then the Lone Peak 7 for $95, and there is one size for 65 of the Lone Peak. So these are both zero drop trail shoes. It's going to give you a nice planted platform out there on the trails. It is going to take some getting used to if you're not used to zero drop shoes, but I want to highlight this because I know we do have some Altra fans out there. So if you want to stock up on your rotation for the trails, this is now a great time to do that. So of these 2 shoes, Olympus is going to be a little bit more cushioned and the Lone Peak is going to be a little bit more versatile. Alright guys, next up we have the Asics Gel-Cumulus for $82. Now this one usually retails for about $140. It competes with shoes like the Nike Pegasus, the Saucony Ride, the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. It's in the heart of the daily trainer market segment, that moderately cushioned zone. So mid-high 30 stack height in the heel, there's no plate, and in this shoe, just one single midsole compound. It is the FF Blast Plus. I actually recommended this to someone looking for a nice cushion daily trainer that came in wide, and they are loving this shoe. It's not going to be too offensive, it's an easy shoe to run in, but it's also not going to be as exciting as something like the Novablast. But if you just want something that is a standard everyday running shoe that you can use for marathon training, that you could use for everyday miles, going to the gym, doing errands, that's where the Cumulus comes into play. And $82, especially I should note, for the pure white colorway we see here with the gum sole, is a really good deal, and the shoe looks awesome. Alright guys, rounding it out here with some love for my overpronators. Now, I always like to highlight a stability shoe in these roundups, and today we have the Saucony Tempus with one of the best deals that I've ever seen on the shoe. Again, I told you, we got some bangers today. And that is going to be $90 on the Tempus. So we do know the Tempus V2 is coming out. I believe it's sometime in the spring or summer. I don't remember off the top of my head. But what you're going to get in the V2 is just a little bit of a revised upper. They changed where the padding is. They made the fit a little bit different. different, but the midsole is the same. So I personally will never buy a revised upper update. I didn't buy the Triumph 21. I'm not gonna get the Tempus 2. And so if you want a nice moderate stability shoe with a little bit more of a fun ride, that's what the Tempus is for. I know a lot of you guys out there really like this shoe, and the 2 isn't gonna be much different. So if you just want a new pair of it, now would be a great time to buy. So $90, and the link is on Supwell on the best deals page. All right, guys, so there you have it. Those are the 10 best running shoe deals this week. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.